Welcome back to the channel. Rarest coins. If you've ever wondered whether your pocket change could be worth more than just a few cents, then this video is for you. Today, we're going to dive into one of the most fascinating coins of the 20th century, the 1965 Washington quarter. You might think that a coin from 1965 is just another piece of everyday currency. But here's the thing. This coin might be hiding a secret, a hidden treasure worth millions of dollars. Looks into the camera with excitement. Now, don't just throw your 1965 quarters away, because some of them, in the right condition or with the right errors, could be worth a lot more than 25 cents. And I'm not talking about the usual coin values, we're talking about serious money. So, whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just starting out, you won't want to miss this. Let's dive into the world of the 1965 Washington quarter and explore how this coin could be worth a fortune. Cut to title screen. 1965 Washington quarter dollar, hidden treasures worth millions, rarest coins. Section 1. A quick history of the 1965 Washington quarter. Holds up a normal 1965 Washington quarter and points to the obverse and reverse designs. First things first, let's talk about the history of the 1965 Washington quarter. This coin was struck as part of a regular series of U.S. quarters and features the familiar design by John Flanagan, a Washington's portrait on the obverse, and the eagle on the reverse, designed by John Sinnock. The 1965 Washington quarter is significant because it was struck during a period of transition in U.S. coinage. For the first time, the mint changed the composition of quarters, moving from 90% silver to a copper nickel-clad composition. Flips the coin to show the reverse, focusing on the mint mark. Rarest coins. While 1965 was a year of change in terms of materials, the design itself remained largely the same, and in total, over 1 billion 1965 Washington quarters were struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. So you might be thinking, there's nothing special about these coins, right? Well, that's where you'd be wrong, because while most 1965 quarters are worth just 25 cents, a small percentage of them have some rare features that make them incredibly valuable. Section 2. The key to big money. The 1965 Washington quarter with minting errors shows a variety of 1965 Washington quarters laid out on the table, some with visible errors and others looking perfectly normal. So, what makes the 1965 Washington quarter potentially worth millions? The answer lies in minting errors. Coins with minting errors can be rare and highly sought after by collectors. Errors happen when something goes wrong during the minting process, and in the case of the 1965 quarter, there are a few specific mistakes that can really boost the coin's value. Let's break them down. Section 3. The 1965 Washington quarter with a double die error. Host zooms in on a 1965 Washington quarter, pointing to the letters and showing the doubling effect. First up is the double die error. This is one of the most famous and valuable errors you can find in any coin, and the 1965 Washington quarter is no exception. A double die error occurs when a coin die is misaligned or gets struck multiple times, causing the design to appear doubled or shifted. You'll typically notice doubling on the letters, such as the word Liberty or In God We Trust. Rarest coins. Compares a normal 1965 Washington quarter with one showing the clear double die error on the lettering. Notice how the letters here are not perfectly aligned, they have a shadowed or double look, which is a clear sign of a double die error. This is the kind of mistake that collectors go wild for. A 1965 Washington quarter with a visible double die error can be worth between $100 to $300 in average condition. But if you find one in high-grade condition, say, MS65 or MS66, the value can jump up to $1,000, or even higher. Leans forward with excitement. In fact, some particularly strong examples of the double die error can fetch upwards of $5,000 at auction, depending on the coin's condition and the prominence of the doubling. Section 4. The 1965 Washington quarter with a clashed die error. Shows a 1965 Washington quarter with visible clashing marks, holding it up to the camera. Next up, let's talk about another error that can make your 1965 Washington quarter worth thousands. The clash die error. This happens when two coin dies strike each other without. Camera fades in with a close-up of a 1986p Washington quarter. The host stands beside a display of rare coins, magnifying glasses, and coin grading tools. Hey, everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're a coin collector or just someone who loves finding hidden treasures, then today's video is one you won't want to miss. We're diving into a coin that you might think is just a regular quarter, the 1986p Washington quarter. But here's the twist: this seemingly ordinary coin could actually be worth a lot more than you think, and in some cases, it could even be worth millions of dollars. Cut to title screen. The 1986p Washington quarter dollar, hidden treasures worth millions. Section 1, a quick overview of the 1986p Washington quarter. Holds up the 1986p Washington quarter and zooms in on the details. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 1986p Washington quarter is part of the regular series of quarters minted by the U.S. Mint. This quarter, like other modern quarters, features George Washington's portrait on the obverse, designed by John Flanagan, and the reverse shows an eagle perched on a branch. The classic Washington design we all know. The P Mint mark indicates it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Flips the quarter over to show the reverse. Millions of 1986p Washington quarters were struck and distributed for general circulation. But here's where it gets interesting. While most of these coins are worth only 25 cents, there are rare errors, special varieties, and unique conditions that could make your 1986p quarter worth hundreds, thousands, or even millions of dollars. Rarest coins. Section 2, the 1986p Washington quarter with a double die error. Zooms in on a 1986p quarter that has noticeable doubling on the obverse. First up, we have one of the most valuable errors to look for on the 1986p Washington quarter, the double die error. This occurs when the coin's die is misaligned and strikes the coin more than once, resulting in visible doubling of the design elements. Highlights the doubled features, such as on the word liberty and in God we trust. On the 1986p quarter, the most common places to find doubling are on the word liberty or in God we trust on the obverse. This is a very subtle error, but if you use a magnifying glass, you'll be able to see the double letters or numbers. A 1986p Washington quarter with noticeable doubling could fetch anywhere from $50 to $300, depending on the degree of doubling and the overall condition of the coin. Compares a regular 1986p quarter to one with a double die error. In higher grades, especially those graded at MS65 or higher, a double die 1986p Washington quarter can be worth $500 or even more. If it's in pristine condition with perfect doubling, collectors could be willing to pay a premium for it. Section 3, the 1986p Washington quarter with an off-center strike. Shows a 1986p quarter with an off-center strike. Part of the design is missing. Next, let's talk about another error that can dramatically increase the value of your 1986p quarter, the off-center strike. This error happens when the coin is struck off-center, meaning it isn't properly aligned with the die. The result is a coin where part of the design is missing, creating a unique and often sought-after collectible. Shows multiple off-center 1986p quarters with varying degrees of misalignment. The degree of the off-center error plays a big role in how valuable the coin can be. Mild off-center strikes can still be worth $50 to $100, while more dramatic off-center errors could be worth $200 or even higher. If the misalignment is extreme and you have a quarter with a significant portion of the design missing, you could see values ranging from $500 to $1,000 or more, especially if the coin is in good condition. Rarest coins. Section 4, the 1986p Washington quarter with a clipped plankett error. Holds up the 1986p quarter with a clipped plankett, showing the distorted edge. Another rare and valuable error on the 1986p Washington quarter is the clipped plankett error. This happens when the metal plankett that the coin is made from is improperly cut, resulting in a coin with a missing portion on its edge. These clipped edges are often very noticeable and can make the coin much more unique and valuable. Demonstrates a clipped plankett with a smooth edge and compares it to a regular quarter. Clipped plankett coins are highly collectible, and the more severe the clip, the more valuable the coin. A 1986p quarter with a small clip might be worth $50 to $200, but larger clips or more dramatic examples could sell for $500 to $1,000 or more. In certain cases, especially with the high quality. Welcome back to the channel. Rarest coins. If you've ever wondered whether your loose change could be worth more than just pocket change, today's video will blow your mind. We're diving deep into the 1994D Washington quarter, a coin that, while seemingly common, could hold hidden treasures worth thousands, or even millions of dollars. Yes, you heard that right. A simple 1994D quarter could be hiding in your collection right now, and it could be worth a small fortune if you know what to look for. So, stick around as we uncover the rare and valuable 1994D Washington quarters that could make you a serious profit. Cut to title screen. 1994D Washington quarter dollar, hidden treasures worth millions, rare coins you need to know about. Rarest coins. Section 1. The basics of the 1994D Washington quarter. Holds up the 1994D Washington quarter and zooms in on the obverse and reverse designs. Let's start by covering the basics. The 1994D Washington quarter is part of the regular coinage that was minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1990s. The obverse features the iconic portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan in 1932. While the reverse shows an eagle perched on a branch, designed by John Sinnock. Flips the coin to show the reverse, focusing on the mint mark. The D mint mark tells us this quarter was minted at the Denver Mint. Millions of these coins were produced and distributed into circulation, so naturally, you'd think most 1994D Washington quarters are just worth face value 25 cents. However, much like many other coins from the 20th century, the 1994D quarter is subject to some rare varieties and errors that can make certain specimens worth significantly more. In fact, some 1994D quarters can be worth thousands, or even millions of dollars, depending on the error or condition. Section 2. The rare and valuable errors that can make the 1994D quarter worth more. Leans in, talking with excitement. So, what makes the 1994D Washington quarter so special? The answer lies in some very rare errors and unusual varieties that can elevate its value far beyond its face value. These are the kinds of coins that make serious collectors salivate and, depending on the error, they can fetch huge amounts of money at auction. Let's look at some of the key mistakes and rare varieties that make the 1994D quarter a coin to keep an eye on. Rarest coins. Section 3. The 1994D Washington quarter with a double die error. Zooms in on a 1994D quarter with noticeable doubling on the text. First up is the double die error, one of the most coveted and valuable mistakes in the world of coin collecting. This error occurs when the die used to strike the coin experiences a misalignment or double strike, causing the design to appear twice or with the shadow image. It's like having a double impression of the letters or numbers on your coin. Zooms in on the word liberty and the date, pointing out the doubling. For the 1994D Washington quarter, the most common spots to find doubling are on the word liberty, the phrase "in God we trust," and sometimes even the date itself. The doubling might be subtle, so you'll need a magnifying glass to really see it. You'll notice that the letters or numbers appear blurry, with the faint secondary image right next to the primary one. It's important to remember that not all double dies are worth a lot, but a strong double die error can make your coin worth thousands. compares a normal 1994D quarter with one that has a clear double die error. If you find a 1994D Washington quarter with a clear double die error, you could be looking at a coin worth anywhere from $100 to $500 in average condition. But, if the doubling is pronounced and the coin is in excellent uncirculated condition, the price could easily shoot up to $1,000 or even more. Some high-grade specimens with dramatic doubling have sold at auction for well over $2,000, especially if they're graded by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. Section 4. The 1994D Washington quarter with an off-center strike, shows a 1994D quarter with an off-center strike, pointing to the irregular alignment. Next, let's talk about the off-center strike error. This occurs when the blank planchet at a piece of metal that gets struck to create the coin A is not properly aligned with the die, causing the design to be off-center. It creates a coin where part of the design is missing on one side, and the rest is shifted. Shows multiple off-center 1994D quarters with varying degrees of camera fades in with a close-up shot of a 1978D Washington quarter sitting on a display stand. The host stands beside a collection of coins, magnifying glasses, and coin grading tools. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters. Welcome back to the channel. If you're a collector or just someone who's looking to strike it rich with some hidden gems, you're in for a treat today. We're going to talk about a coin that might be sitting in your pocket right now, or even in a jar full of change. The 1978D Washington quarter. Now, you might think it's just another regular quarter, right? But hold up, hey, there's more to this coin than meets the eye. Some rare varieties of the 1978D quarter could be worth thousands, or even millions, depending on specific errors or conditions. So, if you've got one of these in your collection, stay tuned, because you could be sitting on a fortune. Cut to title screen. 1978D Washington quarter dollar. Rare treasures worth millions, hidden gems in your coin collection. Section 1. A quick overview of the 1978D Washington quarter. Holds up a 1978D Washington quarter and gives a detailed look at the obverse and reverse. Let's start with the basics. The 1978D Washington quarter is part of the regular U.S. coin series struck during the late 1970s. The obverse features a portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, and the reverse features a perched eagle with a branch, designed by John Sinnock. This design has been in use since 1932, and it's one of the most recognizable images in U.S. coinage history. Flips the coin over to show the reverse and zooms in on the mint mark. The D mint mark means this particular coin was struck at the Denver Mint. The 1978D Washington quarter was part of the regular coin production for circulation, with millions of these coins being minted and distributed. Now, for the most part, a typical 1978D quarter is worth only its face value, 25 cents. But as any coin collector will tell you, it's not always about the base design or minting year. Sometimes it's the errors or variations that make a coin special and potentially worth millions. Section 2. The rare errors and variations that make the 1978D quarter valuable. Leans in closer to the camera, with a sense of excitement. So, what makes a 1978D Washington quarter potentially worth so much more than 25 cents? The answer lies in some of the rare errors and specific conditions you need to look for. Let's dive into the most valuable variations and rare errors that can make this coin worth thousands or even millions. Rarest coins. Section 3. The 1978D Washington quarter with a double die error, shows a close-up shot of a 1978D quarter with noticeable doubling on the text. First up is the double die error. This is one of the most well-known and valuable coin errors, and the 1978D Washington quarter is no exception. A double die error occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned or struck multiple times, resulting in doubling of the design elements. Zooms in on the text "Liberty and In God We Trust" on the coin, pointing out the double features. On a 1978D quarter, you'll typically see this doubling on the word liberty, the phrase "in God we trust," or the date itself. The doubling is often very subtle, but when you look closely, you might notice a faint ghost image of the letters or numbers beside the main design. This type of error can be tricky to spot, but it's one of the most sought-after types of errors in coin collecting. Compares a regular 1978D quarter to one with the visible double die error. Finding a 1978D Washington quarter with a clear double die error is extremely rare, and it could be worth anywhere from $100 to $500, depending on the degree of the error and the condition of the coin. If the coin is in uncirculated condition and the doubling is pronounced, it could fetch upwards of $1,000 or more. Shows a coin graded MS65 with a clear double die error. In higher grades, such as MS65 or MS66, a double die 1978D quarter can command prices between $1,500 to $2,500, and if you happen to find one that's graded MS67 or higher, especially with a really strong double strike, it could easily sell for $5,000 to $10,000 or more at auction. Section 4. The 1978D Washington quarter with an off-center strike, shows a 1978D quarter with a noticeable off-center strike. Next, let's talk about the off-center strike. This is another error that can really up the value of your 1978D quarter. An off-center strike occurs when the coin is misaligned with a die during the minting process, causing part of the design to be missing or misaligned on the coin. Demonstrates the offs. Camera fades in with a close-up of a 1995D Washington quarter sitting on a display stand. The host stands beside a coin collection, looking excited. Hey there, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Rarest coins, welcome back to the channel. If you've ever wondered if your pocket change could be worth more than just a few cents, then today's video is going to be a real eye-opener. We're talking about the 1995D Washington quarter, a coin that might just look like any other quarter in your collection. But hold on, this little piece of change could be hiding a treasure worth thousands, or even millions of dollars. In fact, some rare versions of the 1995D quarter are considered incredibly valuable in the coin world. Leans in with a smile, holding up the 1995D Washington quarter. That's right, while most 1995D Washington quarters are worth, well, 25 cents, certain errors and varieties can make them worth far more. Whether it's a rare minting error or a perfectly preserved specimen, there are some coins out there that are worth serious money. So, if you've got one of those quarters lying around, or you're just curious about the world of rare coins, stick around because I'm going to show you everything you need to know about the 1995D Washington quarter, and how it could be worth millions. Cut to title screen. The 1995D Washington quarter dollar, hidden treasures worth millions, rare coins you need to know about. Section 1. Understanding the 1995D Washington quarter. Holds up a regular 1995D Washington quarter and points to the obverse and reverse designs. Before we dive into their rare and valuable 1995D Washington quarters, let's first take a quick look at what makes up this coin. The 1995D Washington quarter was struck by the U.S. Mint at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the D-Mint mark right here. This coin features the classic design, the portrait of George Washington on the obverse, designed by John Flanagan, and the eagle on the reverse, designed by John Sinnock. Flips the coin to show the reverse side. The coin has been part of U.S. coinage since 1932, but while most quarters from the 1990s are common and circulate for just 25 cents, some rare varieties and errors exist within the 1995D mintage that can make them incredibly valuable to collectors. Rarest coins. Section 2. The most valuable errors in the 1995D Washington quarter, shows a tray of 1995D Washington quarters. So, What exactly makes the 1995D Washington quarter worth so much? Well, the value is all about the errors. Minting errors can create rare variations that, when found, are worth a lot more than the average coin. These errors happen when something goes wrong during the production process, and the result is a coin that doesn't match the typical design. Let's take a look at the most valuable types of errors that you should be keeping an eye out for. Rarest coins. Section 3. The 1995D Washington quarter with a double die error. Zooms in on a 1995D quarter, pointing to the letters and showing the doubling effect. First up is the double die error. This is one of the most sought-after errors in the world of coin collecting. It happens when the die used to stamp the coin isn't properly aligned, or it strikes the coin multiple times, resulting in a doubling effect where the design appears twice, offset slightly. The double die error is especially valuable if the doubling is visible on key areas like the word Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date itself. Shows a comparison between a normal 1995D quarter and one with a clear double die error. As you can see, the doubling is subtle but noticeable. The letters look blurry or ghosted, as though they've been stamped twice. If you find a 1995D quarter with strong doubling, you've got a potentially valuable coin on your hands. Looks excited. A typical 1995D Washington quarter with a double die error can be worth anywhere from $100 to $500, depending on its condition. However, if the coin is in top-grade condition, such as MS65 or MS66, its value could rise dramatically to $1,000 or more. Some high-grade double-die coins have sold for as much as $5,000 or even higher at auction. Rarest coins. Section 4. The 1995D Washington quarter with a clashed die error. Shows a 1995D quarter with noticeable clashing marks. Another rare error that collectors look for is the clashed die error. This occurs when two dies come into contact with each other without a coin being between them. The result: unusual marks or impressions on the coin that shouldn't be there, creating a clashed design. Zooms in to show the faint marks on the 1995D quarter. Clashed die errors can be subtle or bold. Sometimes, you'll see parts of Washington's portrait or camera fades in with a close-up of a 1995D Washington quarter sitting on a display stand. The host stands next to a table filled with magnifying glasses, coin grading tools, and a stack of various coins. Rarest coins. Hey, everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're into coin collecting or just wondering whether your loose change might be worth more than its face value, today's video is going to be a game changer. We're going to talk about a coin that may have slipped under your radar, the 1995D Washington quarter. You might think it's just another regular quarter, right? Well, think again. While most 1995D quarters are only worth 25 cents, there are certain rare variations and errors that could have you sitting on a goldmine. Some of these coins are worth thousands, and in some cases, even millions of dollars. So, if you've got a 1995D Washington quarter, keep watching, because it could be your ticket to a fortune. Cut to title screen. The 1995D Washington quarter dollar, hidden treasures worth millions. Rarest coins. Section 1. A quick overview of the 1995D Washington quarter. Holds up the 1995D Washington quarter, showing both the obverse and reverse designs. Let's start with the basics. The 1995D Washington quarter is part of the regular U.S. coinage series. The obverse features the famous portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, while the reverse features an eagle perched on a branch, designed by John Sinnock. This design has been used since 1932, and while it may seem ordinary, there are some surprising factors that make the 1995D Washington quarter far from average. Flips the coin to show the reverse, focusing on the mint mark. The D mint mark means this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. Millions of 1995D quarters were produced and distributed into circulation, and like most of the other quarters from that year, you'd probably think they're only worth their face value of 25 cents. But there's a catch, as some of these coins have rare errors or special characteristics that make them worth a lot more. So let's break down which 1995 quarters could be worth thousands or even millions. Section 2. The most valuable errors and varieties in the 1995 Washington quarter. Leans in, gesturing to a tray of coins laid out on the table. So, what makes a 1995 Washington quarter potentially worth a fortune? The answer lies in rare errors, and there are a few that can really increase the value of this coin. From minting mistakes to high-grade coins, here's what to look for if you want to spot a valuable 1995 quarter. Rarest coins. Section 3. The 1995 Washington quarter with a double die error. Zooms in on a 1995 Washington quarter with visible doubling on the letters. First up, let's talk about one of the most valuable and well-known errors in the world of coin collecting, the double die error. This happens when the die used to strike the coin is improperly aligned or struck multiple times, creating a noticeable doubling of the design elements. It can happen on any part of the coin, but on the 1995 Washington quarter, the most common areas to look for doubling are the letters "In Liberty" and "In God We Trust." When you examine the 1995 quarter closely, you'll notice that the letters are doubled, almost as if they've been stamped twice. This error is subtle, so you'll need a magnifying glass or a loupe to detect it clearly. The more pronounced the doubling, the more valuable the coin. Compares a normal 1995 quarter with a double die example. A typical 1995 Washington quarter with a clear double die error can be worth anywhere from $100 to $500 in average condition. But the real money comes when the coin is in excellent uncirculated condition. In higher grades like MS65 or MS66, the value can jump to $2,000 or even more. Some rare examples with dramatic doubling, especially on a coin graded MS67 or higher, can command prices in the $5,000 to $10,000 range, and in extremely rare cases, even more. Section 4. The 1995 Washington quarter with a clashed die error. Shows a 1995 quarter with a clear clashed die error, pointing out the unusual marks on the coin. Next, let's talk about the clashed die error. This is another rare and fascinating mistake that happens during the minting process. A clashed die occurs when two dies come into contact with each other without a coin between them, causing the design from one die to be transferred onto the other die. This results in unusual marks or impressions on the coin that don't belong there. Zooms in on a 1995 quarter with clear die clash marks. On a 1995 quarter with a clashed die error, you may notice